Welcome back to my study guide material here for course 308 with Houston Community College. Before the exam, I am going through and creating a video study guide. You're more than welcome to study along with me as I teach myself some basic information that needs to be known and different properties and things. So moving on, I'm moving into chapter 9, and that is a basic introduction to algebra. So now we learned the basic building blocks of geometry and some of the different formulas and properties. We learned to connecting different segments and shapes together and how to find their area and volume, and of course how they're ultimately all related, starting from the first angle and segment of an object or a geometric figure. But now we're moving into the introduction of algebra, so we can go on to solve, and that's also called evaluating an expression. Now you have an expression, and generally that is what's going on. So it can be consisted of, our variables, and now variables are our unknowns, and usually they're recognized. A variable is recognized as a constant. Usually our most common theme, I don't have my marker here, but it is recognized as an x, but we're going to go on to, that's the most common, variable. And we solve for that, and we know that if that representation, that unknown, is variable, it can change, and if we plug in a different number into x, we are going to get a different value for evaluating the expression. So once we establish that your variables are your unknowns, we're going to get into the deeperness of algebra and recognize that there are different formulas. So whenever you write an equation, you're going to want to stick to using a variable as a consonant for something that you can remember. So when we get into these other formulas of things, we're going to start recognizing just basically, how we saw in those other formulas for area and volume, how, lowercase r stands for radius and things like that. Those are variables within that equation or formula. So basically, we're going to recognize that there are many different consonants that represent things to us throughout algebra. Now, if you're trying to create something on your own, you can use any consonant you want as long as you're consistent, but we're going to go in and of course, learn some basic formulas and the consonants and things that are used typically that give meaning in algebra to us, so we can. So there's different types of problems that we deal with in the real world and different formulas that we use. Now, there are many different things that we use in algebraic expressions. Now, there's different keywords and things like that that we use. That means that we're going to be carrying out an operation. Now, your operations are your addition, your subtraction, your multiplication, and your division. Those are your operations. And if we're doing whether it's a word problem or it's there, we can look at it and establish what operation we're doing based on like a word problem. So if we see the words like add or added to, sum, or plus, we know we're going to be carrying out addition. Or if it says subtract, the difference, or minus, less than, decrease, or take away, we're going to be doing subtraction. And multiplication is, you're multiplying, you're timesing something as a product, or, the word of is going to establish your multiplication. And now your division is divide, divided by, and of course the word quotient. So it's a quotient of. So also, let's see. I think that's all I'm going to put in this video. So basically that was some basic, I went over the operations and what a variable is and what an algebraic expression is. What evaluating means, it means we're solving, we're plugging in all of our variables, and we're solving for the equation at that point. So let's move on to the next section.